I'm very proud to tell you guys this video is going to be brought to you by Gfuel, and right now they have a brand new Kaiju number 8 energy formula. You guys know, if you've been keeping up with my videos on my other channel, I love Kaiju number 8. I am extremely proud to say that I've tried this one out. This energy formula of the Kiwi Berry Blitz is absolutely insane, and you get that energy formula itself. There's just enough caffeine in the energy formula itself to get your day started. Another huge plus is the fact that there's zero crash when you use it, so you ain't got to worry about being Konohamaru and not being able to perform because you ain't got the energy. Also, you get all the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that are going to get your day going, and best of all, there's zero sugar, which is a huge plus to me. You guys know that running multiple YouTube channels, it's not an easy thing to do. And so I do time to time need an energy drink to pick me up. And so I go with Gfuel because it's a lot healthier than some of the energy drinks that are out there. Use my promo code KAGE in order to get your discount. When you click on my affiliate link down in the description box, you can purchase the Kaiju number 8 box as well as any other anime themed Gfuel products that strike your fancy. Doing so really helps support the channel. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto explaining here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today I want to talk to you guys about one of the battles that we appear to be getting in the upcoming manga chapter, which is the battle of Jura versus Delta and Kawaki. And I wanted to weigh in on why I strongly believe this battle holds a lot more significance than you might be thinking as we go deeper into the Boruto time skip story that is currently unfolding. Now, as a reminder, the chapter will drop officially on the 19th this month, which you can read for free on Viz Media's Shonen Jump app or over on Shueisha's app called Manga Plus. Spoilers should be out tomorrow since we have the cover leak for this month's V-Jump magazine cover. So spoilers should be out tomorrow or the 18th, depending on if anyone gets their hands on the magazine early and translates it. Depending on when we get the leaks and when I get the translation, the review will be out either on the 19th or the 20th. It depends on how quick I get a translation and how much time the editor who does the chapter reviews will need to keep the quality of the edits that you guys have been seeing on the review. So at Kawaki and Delta versus Jura, I think we pretty much expect this fight to be an utter curb stomp when it happens, which, contrary to popular belief, characters losing battles, it doesn't hurt their growth at all. It only hurts it in the eyes of people who are too focused on the meathead aspects of being a fan of a battle shonen series. With how the story has been positioning Jura, he is clearly meant to be our top dog who the audience is meant to feel the most apprehension towards. Boruto decided to run away after Jura and the Shinju decided to gang up on him, but Jura this whole time was shown above the battle, never lifting a finger or a hand out of his pockets. He was giving off the aura of someone who might be the final boss at some point later on whenever we get to the ending of the Shinju arc, or rather the Shinju battles in general. When he did pull up into Konoha, the Jonin who were attacked, they were immediately taken out by the wood release off screen. Kawaki confronted him, and Jura not only tells the guy, don't damage the bookstore, and is more concerned about the books that he wanted to read than he was about fighting Kawaki. But before Kawaki can even act, he's got the guy trapped inside of a wood release jutsu, and the only reason Kawaki was able to escape is he was crafty enough to use Sukuna Hikona on himself via the Kokugan and shrink himself down so that he would be too small for the wood release, and even that wasn't enough. Jura then went on the offensive and sent Kawaki flying with a couple of hits and gave Kawaki flashbacks to when his father used to beat him so badly Kawaki would hallucinate at night, picturing the sight of goldfish in order to give him comfort. Jura has given off those vibes of being a true apex predator, and the manga in the last chapter did its best to let us know all of this by having the fight with Himawari be structured in the way that it was. It was brilliant. We saw Himawari using her new power. We saw Himawari going into battle with Jura, and we saw fans get a small sense of false hope, making them feel like maybe she can do it. Maybe Kurama wasn't just gassing her up for defeat, and sure enough, that's exactly what it was. He gassed her up and he went, yeah, I guess your potential's not good enough to beat someone this strong. Victory, it was snatched out of the hands of Himawari. Hope that every reader had, it was shattered because Jura basically says, hey, this is fun beating you up and smacking you around, but I haven't even shown my true power yet. And he proceeds to start testing out the different abilities he has on Himawari just to see how fast she can regenerate and to what extent her regeneration abilities were in possession of before she eventually passes out from the pain, and she needed to be saved by Boruto, who then promptly flies away, putting distance between himself and Jura, and then teleports. Even when Kawaki and Delta were shown flying towards Jura's location, Delta was saying the quiet part out loud, just what do you plan on doing against someone who has already beaten you unconscious once before? When Kawaki says, hey, I'm gonna figure it out, Delta basically asks him again, so what are you gonna do that's gonna make this different? And the normally brash and foul-mouthed Kawaki had nothing to say. For the first time in a long time, Kawaki had been humbled by his enemy. Jura didn't even have to be on screen for this to happen, and it's just the aura that Jura provided, where there's just a sense of dread that anyone who's paying attention to the narrative is able to pick up on right away and see what the narrative's trying to prepare us for when it comes to Jura's power. We're not even at the tip of the iceberg yet. Kawaki and Delta, based on what we saw in the last chapter, they didn't appear to be too far behind Boruto, who was racing off to save Himawari, which means they should be arriving around the same time that Boruto's beginning the start of his battle with Hidari that we saw in the teaser that was just released. Jura looks annoyed that Boruto had showed up, but based on what we've seen with Jura and how he views Boruto, and especially Kawaki, he views them as being beneath him, as people he can take down at any moment he chooses to do so. While there remains a possibility that Jura just makes a claw mark and he travels to meet Hidari, I think we have to look at the possibility, even more so, that Kawaki and Delta versus Jura is getting ready to take place. Being fully transparent with you guys know I hate the idea of Boruto and Kawaki teaming up right now. I think it would be too soon if this happens, and it runs the risk of being an absolute fumble if the tension between these two is not incorporated into the teamwork in a proper way. I think the narrative knows this as well, because despite Shikamaru saying, hey, it's better to work with Boruto, the Shinju, they're enemies to him as well, the narrative has also purposely left Jura away from the village with two very powerful combatants closing in on him, and it has Boruto back in the village with multiple people who he has to protect, and he'll have a handicap when doing so, because again, he's not going to fire off a giant Rasengan and nuke the village. If he does something like that, he will have to contain the area of damage so as to not do any structural damage to the village and endanger any of the people who are in the area. They've been split up, and I think it's for that reason that we'll see Kawaki confront Jura. There are benefits to this battle taking place, even though it is one that we pretty much know exactly how it's going to end, barring some super monster power-up that would be mega cliche, which this is a battle shonen, so mega cliche plot twist power-ups, they are to be expected because it's a tried and tested formula that has worked for numerous Shonen Jump battle series, from Yu Yu Hakusho to Dragon Ball to One Piece to Bleach, and God knows Naruto's pulled it out as a franchise more than its fair share of times. It's a matter of when, not so much if, in this regard. However, we need to see Delta and Kawaki fall here in the fight, because what it does for their characters, which is exposing their limitations. With Delta and Kawaki, you have two very hot-tempered people who are extremely prideful, and losing battle in a humiliating way, it's not going to go over well with either one of them. Just look at what happened with Delta when she lost to Naruto. As soon as her consciousness was transferred to another clone of her body, she got super pissed off and was ready to go right back for round 2 of the fight before Jigen pulled rank on her, told her to sit down, and he pulled a Thanos and he grabbed his Infinity Gauntlet known as the Ten Tails, and he went to handle his light work himself, and he even got bonus points for knocking the Sonic Rings out of Sasuke. Kawaki is no different at all. When he gets his emotions and they get the better of him, he begins to act out. He begins to get desperate. Right now, we're looking at Kawaki as he's realizing that he is out of options. Everything Damon predicted to him, it is all coming true. Boruto is stronger than Kawaki, so Kawaki can't even kill Boruto. Boruto doesn't have control of Konoha, and Kawaki's smarter to know exactly what this means. If Boruto's this strong now, then when he uses the Konoha seal, he's going to be even more unstoppable, and there has been nothing that has been shown to even remotely insist that they are even relative to each other when it comes to that. Even if you factor in the hacks of Kawaki's Kokugan, where it would be enough for him to have the upper hand or level the playing field if Momoshiki takes over, there's nothing that suggests that, as we've seen so far. Then you have the awakened Shinju, a whole nother animal, literally. While their power, it is yet to be determined. We know on a certain level that the Bug Shinju and Hidari and Matsuri are implied to be somewhat relative to base Boruto, but we've never seen them use full power. They are, for all intents and purposes, on a sliding scale, which is for the benefit of the narrative. However, Jura isn't even on a sliding scale. The guy is just an absolute question mark, where the only thing that we know is that when it comes to villains right now, he is the apex predator that everyone in the verse needs to be worried about. Damon told Kawaki, when these guys show up, what are you going to do? It's one thing to blame everything on Boruto and Sasuke. Hey, that's the smart move. I'd make that move too. Nobody is going to take the words of a traitor over yours. Congratulations on feeding that lie. However, these guys, now if they show up and they start demanding to know exactly where Naruto is, a guy who's supposed to be dead, and they start having interactions with people, man, all this is gonna blow up in your face, and when it does, you're gonna get exposed. Kawaki, he has a lot riding on the situation being resolved, and for once, there is nothing that he can do about it. He can't take his ninja tech and slice somebody's head off. He can't use his Karma Seal and shoot out like an energy amp chakra blast using the ninja tech and Karma. If Jura wanted to, he could have beaten Kawaki and consumed him to start the process of harvesting a chakra fruit. Kawaki's literally only alive because Jura got bored with him. However, the idea of Jura purposely dragging out the fight and pushing Kawaki in order to get his own self-curiosity explored, which is continuing to evolve, it feels like the next natural progression of his character. He's a lot like Kaiju number 9, who, without going into spoilers, operates in the same way. He is an evolved being beyond following his instincts like other Kaiju, and this in turn would be a great way to start positioning Kawaki towards that moment of true despair that the story has warned us that he must not feel, like he's being backed into a corner. And what better way for this to happen than to have Kawaki lose a fight even when he has backup in the area where he doesn't have to worry about mass scale damage if he uses full strength. It's going to lead to a fork in the road moment for Kawaki, which is why I'm as excited as I am, just as you should be excited about the Dragon Gods in Fairy Tail, which this video on the left breaks them down extensively, and over here on the right we got a Naruto Explained video for those guys who want more Naruto content.